Today I get the honor of Dr. Jason White in my studio. Jason, welcome. That was sweet.
That's it.
There we go. High Five Friday.
High Five Friday, baby.
Welcome to On Purpose.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I've got some thoughts that I wanted to introduce this man to. I've used him as a client. I'm a client of yours.
Yes.
Friend.
Yes.
We've been to the gym together.
Yeah.
We are both believers.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things I want to start with is the word alignment.
Okay.
So I have lots of talks that when I go around speaking about alignment. And when I feel like we're in an alignment properly with the Lord, our relationships can be proper alignment and they feel better. Yeah. But what you're doing on a daily basis is a different kind of alignment.
True.
Right? And I think they both mirror each other because in your practice, you are boldly doing both.
Yes.
So being on purpose, can you share with me, when do you feel like alignment in the Lord and alignment in your practice started?
That's
right off the gate, deep.
Yeah. No, that's good, though. That's a great question. Honestly, it started before I was ever in practice for myself. It started when I was not an intern, but rather an associate doc at another office. When I first graduated, I worked with somebody. I was supposed to purchase that practice after a year's worth of being an associate. He was looking to move on, and then we'll just say that didn't work out, and the writing was on the wall. It was time for my wife and I to move in a different direction as far as running a chiropractic office. That wasn't going to be the option for us. So I would say, I think you can look at things in a lot of different ways. A lot of people would say, that was just a terrible associateship, and it was awful, everything was terrible, whatever. The guy was negative, and, blah, blah, blah. I looked at it as I learned a lot. I learned a ton in that 10 months, and most of it was what not to do. And that's okay, right? So the whole idea that Missy and I came up with was we're just going to do 180, and we're going to run this thing the way we think we should run it. We had no idea what we were doing as far as running a business. Had never done that before. They certainly don't teach it to us in chiropractic school. So we just said, you know what, we're just going to take our purpose and passion, and we're going to go in this direction. Treat people the way we think they should be treated, and let's see what we can do with this thing. So it honestly started before I ever opened my doors to my own clinic, knowing and it was interesting. My wife was, God bless her, she was very nervous about opening the doors. Mm-hmm. I never once, and I can say it with 100% honesty, I never once was concerned whether I was doing the right thing. I knew with every fiber of my being, this is the direction I'm supposed to go, and we're just going to go. We didn't know all the steps. I know we can, we speak biblically to each other sometimes.
Sure.
It never says anywhere in the Bible that you have to have all the steps planned out, every answer to every question. It's just move.
Well,
He's asking us to move and move forward.
That's why it wouldn't be called faith, right?
Amen.
That's why.
Truth.
For sure.
Yeah. So it kind of started then.
Yeah. So, speaking of Missy, you're first of all, President, Advanced Chiropractic in the Spine Garage. You're celebrating 20 years.
Yep.
Congratulations on that. That's huge.
Appreciate
2 locations,
Yep.
Fenton now and Holly.
Yep.
But you're also celebrating 25 years of marriage with Missy, and you've raised 3 great young men.
Thank you.
So that is just a testament right there that you've been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
So you are in alignment, my friend, which is really, really good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can you share a little bit about raising young men? And let's just be honest, the word man or men has been attacked in our society, right?
Certainly.
And you're raising 3 of them.
Yep.
How have you done it well? Give some new dad advice. Like, hey, I'm a new dad. I just had my first baby. Give them some advice.
I think the biggest piece of advice, there's a couple pieces of advice. The first one is, early on and forever is people on the whole, we need 2 things. Everybody on the planet needs to be heard, and they need to be loved. That's it. You could throw in all kinds of other things as well, but everybody needs to be heard and everybody needs to be loved. They have to know those things. So beyond a shadow of a doubt, Missy and I definitely did everything we could to make sure that those boys were heard, and they knew 100% that we loved them and we would do anything for them. They always knew that. So they always had that foundation, that base to come back to. I think, not that it's easier when they're small, but when they start to grow and they start to become young men, they're in their early teen years or whatever. I think a lot of times it's easy to fall back in that pattern of, well, this is the way it was when I grew up. Well, it just ain't that way anymore.
Sure.
Plain and simple. It's a different world. I mean, you and I didn't have cell phones. We didn't have laptop computers. We had phones that were attached to a wall with a cord. So our world was 100% different than the one that they're growing up in. They're continuously bombarded with information through social media. And so we had newspapers.
Sure.
That was our world.
Encyclopedias.
Yes. I remember doing my homework projects, getting the encyclopedias out and digging through. But I had this conversation with my boys at one point, and I can't remember the exact instance. Like something had occurred, and my oldest son wanted to go do something, and my knee-jerk reaction was like, no. Why do you need to go do that? What's the point? This just seems like a bad idea. And it took me about 5 minutes later, I was thinking to myself, why? Why is it a bad idea? Is it? It really isn't. It really wasn't. And I love that he came up and asked a question. He didn't just go do.
Mm-hmm.
He was being open and honest with me. So I actually pulled my oldest son aside and I was like, hey, I'm sorry. And I think a lot of parents don't say, I'm sorry.
That's powerful.
Because we can be wrong.
Sure.
Right?
We're human.
It's okay. Right?
Yeah.
So I did. And he kind of sat back like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, this world that you're growing up in is so different than what I grew up in. I said, in order for me to be the best dad that I can possibly be for you, just communicate with me. Keep talking with me. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how this affects you in this way or that way. Let me know what's going on at school and with your friends and that kind of stuff. Not to be like a prying parent, but help me understand your world so I can be the best parent I can be for you.
That's really, really good advice. So I'm hoping a lot of people give you a thumbs up on that for sure. And that's going to be a reel. I promise you there.
I dig it. Man. But those were interesting moments, though. I mean, it is. I mean, you're raising human beings. I mean, that's like, my goodness. Any job you could have on the planet, that's the one that can pay the biggest dividends and it has the most at stake, raising children. And I mean, now mine are all in college, so it's like my parenting days are over. They've been over for a while. You reach a certain point and you're not a parent anymore. You're always a parent. You're always mom and dad, but you kind of turn into a life coach at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's like they don't need you to put the spoon in the mouth and feed them and all that stuff anymore. They're grown up.
But they still will come to you.
100%.
30 years old, 40 years old. I promise. They still will come to you for advice and they will listen.
Yeah.
Which is, you've set that good foundation there, which is really, really good.
Thank you.
So you're doing that, but also you're running a business where you have doctors underneath you or alongside of you, your business partners, right? And at some point, they develop the same passion and purpose and alignment that you develop.
Right.
And now you've got husband, father, business owner. Yeah. How do you balance all that?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how you got here today.
To be completely honest. Yeah. I mean, that's the funny thing is, honestly, everybody's in the people business. Whether you think you are or you're not, you're in the people business. And even still today, sometimes I have to remind myself, every day I go to the clinic, there's a schedule. I'm seeing this person at this time, this person at this time, and it just rolls throughout the day. In 20 years of doing this, never, ever even close has my schedule started one way and finished that way. It always looks 100% different than the start of the day. And I don't know, to be honest with you, how I juggle all the things that I juggle. I certainly couldn't do half of it without my wife, Misty, and she's she's kind of that. She keeps me because I'm like a ping pong ball. I'm all over the place. I got ideas. I want to do this. Hey, let's try that. Let's go over here and do
Yeah.
this thing. We have a couple of different side businesses and things that we take care of as well. So she's the one that kind of she's got the reins, man. She's driving the bus, and I'm just trying. We have a couple of different side businesses and things that we take care of as well. So she's the one that kind of she's got the reins, man. She's driving the bus, and I'm just trying to keep my energy focused.
Yeah, you and I are a lot alike that way. Yeah. I talk a lot about, as I said, I talk about alignment, but when we're in right alignment in our roles in the marriage too, like our role being the spiritual leader of the home, it allows them to be the relationship warrior and do the things that they're good at to keep us in the right direction. And when correction comes from them, I know for me, when correction comes from her, it's like, okay, I know that's from God, so I better look at that.
Yeah.
So that's only how it's helping, right? Yeah. It's only a helper. I don't know if you feel that way about Misty, but
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that what we're there for? I mean, this is a relationship, and it's there again. Never does it say it's going to be like the easiest thing you ever do. And I can't remember what the national average for a marriage is anymore. I think it's like 8 or 9 years, something not great.
That's sad. Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is you're two totally different people.
Mm-hmm.
You're in love with each other. That's great. But you think different about different things, and you're going to have speed bumps, that's what I call them. There's going to be speed bumps in your relationship.
Yeah.
Best thing you can do is learn and grow together, period.
Love it.
Learn and grow together. Spend the time together. We've had not necessarily marriage coaches, but I've had practice coaches, which are life coaches, and I've had life coaches and mindset coaches. Okay. And I say but she's always there too.
Good.
Always learning and growing together. And I learned that in chiropractic school because we were married. She liked me before I was a cool chiropractor. So, but when I went to school, like my whole paradigm was being shifted about health and wellness and how to take care of the human body and so forth. And I was like, I need her to be with me on this if this is all going to work. So like sometimes there would be speakers that would come to school. She went with me, and I'd tell her the things that I was learning in school so we could have conversations. So it wasn't like she was unaware of what I was learning and the mindset shifts that I was making and how the human body worked and how we should take care of it best.
Yeah.
So we were always running together, and I've kind of run that through my practice days as well with team members. It's like if we don't grow together, we're going to grow apart. Right.
Good. Yes.
So a lot of times I'm always encouraging them to come to our state conventions and things like that so they can further their knowledge and just be around like-minded individuals and so forth. And it always blows me away how many docs don't bring their teams along.
Yeah. And that's interesting. Yeah. It's a good way to do it though.
I mean, you're getting all these cool nuggets of information and you come back on fire and they're just coming off a normal week and like, Doc, slow down. What did you eat?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
transition into chiropractic. What if you had to give 3 minutes, like people may not know a lot about chiropractic. What made you choose that field and why are you so passionate about it?
Man, what made me choose it was I think it was it's always God's guiding, whether you know it or not. There's, sometimes you feel like a ship without a rudder, but he's steering. He's taking you where you need to go. You just need to be open and aware. So I was taken into chiropractic due to an injury that I had. I did a lot of physical manual labor and stuff like that in between semesters at Michigan State. And I ended up working for a bricklayer for a couple of years. And one day I'd never had issues before. Like a lot of folks are going to say, oh, chiropractic back pain. Okay. That's a lot of times how people enter chiropractic as a patient. And I was the same way. I entered it as a patient with lower back pain. As I said, I was shoveling sand in a mixer and I didn't feel anything, hear anything, nothing. All of a sudden I just couldn't stand up straight anymore.
Okay.
Like, oh. And about an hour or two later, I was still at work because that's what you do, right?
Sure.
You taught to work hard and you keep grinding.
Yep.
And my boss needed materials. I was the guy that gave him the materials and set him up for everything. So it got to an hour or so into this and I'm like, oh, now it's starting to hurt.
Okay.
And I went up to him and I was like, hey, I can't stand up straight. My lower back's killing me. Can I go home? And it wasn't like something that I would ever do, but it was probably 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He's like, well, if you can set me up for the rest of the day, then you can go home. Okay. So that's what I did. It wasn't like a question or if I was ever going to do that. It was like, okay, this is what I'll do. So I made this huge batch of mortar, running bricks up a scaffolding. He's up, gosh, he was probably 3 stories up on that scaffold. So I'm bringing him up bricks and doing the whole thing, all while I can barely stand up straight. I get home, and the cool part is I'm driving a stick shift. And now all of a sudden, my right leg doesn't seem to want to work as well as it should. So I'm like sweating bullets driving home, trying to keep everything where it's supposed to be. And I go home, and I literally roll in the house at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and my mom's like, what are you doing home? Because it was so early. I was like, I hurt my back. And, she goes, oh, you want me to call your dad's chiropractor? And I was like, nah. I'm like 20 years old. I got an S on my chest. You're invincible.
Yeah.
I just need to go lay down. So I went and laid down. God bless my mom. She comes in 5 minutes later. She goes, you got an appointment in 45
I
minutes.
love it. Yeah.
So I go to this thing, and I mean, it was instant, like 85% better as soon as you adjust me. And I was so scared because I hurt and I'm sweating, and he adjusted me. And it felt so good. It was like, and I stood up straight, and I'm like, holy cow. And I was back to work full speed and inside of 2 or 3 days. And I went back to Michigan State. So I stopped chiropractic care. And all the while, when I was going that summer, I started to realize, you know what? My knees and my ankles aren't popping like they normally would. Because I was getting adjusted, things were getting lined up properly. My body's functioning at a higher level. So I go back to Michigan State, stop seeing a chiropractor, and I'm playing basketball with some buddies outside. And I make this sweet reverse layup. Yes, I did make it. But as I come down, I stumble back and I ran into the back of the pole. And boom, lower back went haywire again. So I go see a guy up there. In both instances, in this point in time, I was kind of lost on what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go with my professional life. So both of these guys, they were like identical almost. They both had great energy. You could tell they loved what they were doing.
Sure.
Changing lives. And I was like, you know what? I think this is where I need to go. Because God bless my first chiropractor, him and his wife, they knew that I was kind of a ship without a rudder as far as where I was heading in my professional career. And I think it was about 2 weeks after I started care, I started getting mail from Palmer College of Chiropractic, where that doctor went to school.
Okay.
Just by chance. Yeah. So I come in one day, I was like, oh, it's so weird. I started getting mail from Palmer. And she kind of laughed. She goes, that might have been me. So I had a lot of help along the way, help that I was unaware was actually happening. But that second time that I got damaged, it was kind of like, I was like, okay, God, got it. Please,
no more
lower back pain. I'm good. But as I went to school, like the things I learned were, like most people don't really know how to take very good care of themselves.
Yeah.
The society we live in has made it incredibly easy to become unhealthy.
So true.
So easy to become unhealthy. And even when you think you're trying to make the right choices with the food you put in your mouth and all that stuff, it might be wrapped pretty and look like it's healthy. But if you flip it over and you look at what's in it, it's like you can't pronounce any of it. There's dozens and dozens of ingredients. And that's not really truly fit for human consumption. Your body doesn't know what to do with that because it's not actually real food. So what I love about chiropractic is its full natural approach.
Yeah.
I mean, I could cite research about the immune system and how chiropractic can affect that. And there's so many great things about it that people don't know because somehow we got put into this box of neck pain, back pain, headaches.
Yes.
But I've had, hundreds of patients that have been wellness patients for years and years. And it's not because I got rid of their back pain, it's because they realized different changes in their life, things that they've struggled with for oftentimes years, that they had just figured that was just life. This is just how it's going to be now. And and I say we make those changes. This is, I think, sometimes where chiropractic can get a little fuzzy, because there's docs out there that say sometimes that, oh, I can cure this or I can cure that. Chiropractic doesn't cure a thing, not one thing. We put the body back together, put the pieces and the parts where they're supposed to be. And by doing so, that alignment, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what starts to turn on the nerve system, the immune system, circulatory, all the systems function through nerve system.
Yeah.
Right? Not one thing in your body happens without nerve system function. So your body starts to heal itself. And that's the whole basis of chiropractic care, is what we learned in school was called ADIO, which means above, down, inside, out.
Mm-hmm.
So above from your creator down into you, and true health is expressed from the inside out, not from the outside in through pill form or whatever. So
I had never heard that before. That's awesome. That's powerful. It's very, very cool, man.
I love it. That one still gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Honestly, it does. I might be a little cheesy, but
No,
that
that's
one
very
gives
cool.
me goosebumps.
Yeah.
So
Another reel, man. Gosh, come on. So as we wrap up, I always like to ask, like, are you still taking patients, and how can they get a hold of you? What's the best way to contact you? Your locations? Give me like the scoop on everything.
okay, yeah. The name of the practice is Advanced Care Chiropractic. My original office is in Holly. That one's been there for 20 years. And we just opened a second location in Fenton. So the Holly location is on North Saginaw Street. Most people know where Dairy Queen is. So it's just a little south of the Dairy Queen. And our Fenton location, we opened in July of 24. So that's a brand new one. And that is right there on Silver Lake Road and Silver Parkway. So kind of wedged in between Pet Supplies Plus and Buffalo Wild Wings.
And we got to shout out. It's next door to
And
Impact.
right next to Impact Fitness.
Yeah, Impact Fitness.
So
my boy Eric.
Yeah, Eric, thank you for allowing us to actually subleasing space from Impact Fitness. So if it wasn't for the relationship Eric and Misty have through working out and all that stuff,
yeah,
I don't know that I'd be in Fenton right now. So that relationship really spawned the idea of, hey, maybe this is an opportunity for us to test the market in Fenton, because there's a lot of chiros in Fenton already, but I think we're number 10 in Fenton, and it's taken off like crazy.
I'm so glad for you.
Going nuts. But the easiest way to get a hold of us is our phone number. It's 248-328-9800.
And we'll put that at the bottom of the screen when we do it. Yeah,
that can reach either office.
Perfect.
Likewise.
Listen, he's way more than chiropractic. I'm way more than real estate. We're just two people in alignment with the Lord, trying to serve others. Reach out to Dr. Jason. He's awesome, and his wife Misty. And I hope.
Appreciate